It's as strong as a spell. I'll never tell. Yeah, I like you, that's for sure.
Hi guys, welcome back to Exmo Lex. So the other day while I was scrolling through Twitter, I came across this tweet from a well-meaning Mormon. Serving a mission, want your queer investigators and allies to know you are a safe person to teach them about our restored church and its unique doctrine to bring hope and healing? Consider adding pronouns to your social media profiles. I wanted to like this idea. It's something that's extremely easy to do. It's something a lot of people do to support the LGBTQ+ community. It's inclusive. It's generally a positive thing. So as I was considering this and mulling over how I felt about it, I read the comments. Rookie mistake. So let's hear some of the things that Mormons had to say in response to this tweet. Law of chastity going to be kind of awkward, huh? The gospel of Jesus Christ is the safest thing in eternity. No need to use ideas from a philosophy which confuses genders preached against by President Oaks. I think bearing the name of Jesus Christ will be more than sufficient. It's not about he, him, or she, her. It's about Jesus Christ. He has risen. Happy Easter. Quote, we can accept and respect others without endorsing their beliefs or actions that do not align with the Lord's will. There is no need to sacrifice truth on the altar of agreeableness and social desirability. Somebody said, you can't be a safe person if you're recruiting for the church. It isn't a safe place for queer people. And a Mormon jumped in and said, that is a lie. Living the gospel of Jesus Christ is the safest place anyone can be. Our doctrine and teachings aren't unique if we bend to the social pressures of the world and confuse divine truths like gender and identity. I've always respected you and still do, but you're wrong on this one. Essentially bowing down to their false idols, right? In what universe does that make any shred of sense? This nonsense causes contention. This nonsense is of the devil. You do know all investigators need to learn this and commit to keep it, right? Listing the law of chastity. Our doctrine is safe for all. Somebody posted a link to false prophets on the church's website. Stop it. Want to participate in the cultural revolution that aims to obfuscate the differences and sacred roles of men and women? Want to help groom children to be hedonistic sexual deviants? Want to just be a straight up weirdo? So to anyone watching this video, do you think the church is a safe place for members of the LGBTQ community? Do you think that they would feel welcome and accepted for, just being who they are? At this point, I feel like you can see pretty clearly why I don't agree with the original tweet. It seems pretty dishonest to me to represent the church as a safe place for LGBTQ people when this is the kind of response there is for something as simple as pronouns. The word that kept coming to my mind while I was reading through these comments was unwelcoming. And these are just comments from members. What about the leaders? What about the men who make the rules? I'm going to read you some quotes from the leaders of the church starting all the way back in the 50s to present day. And keep in mind that this church teaches that the prophets and apostles are speaking for God. BYU President Ernest L. Wilkinson, 1959. The dean of students and his staff take care of the relatively few cases involving more serious offenses, such as cases of immorality, other sex offenses, and other serious crimes or sins. In this respect, may I say that degrading motion pictures, a great loosening of society standards, and unfortunately in some cases in the armed services, have resulted in a serious increase of homosexual practices in our society. In a student body of 10,000 members, we can probably expect to have a few of these perverted individuals. The dean of students have been given instructions this year that students who engage in any practices of this kind will not be tolerated in this campus. President Spencer W. Kimball, 1965. And still, these young people talk of love. What a corruption of the most beautiful term. The word is prostituted also in the realm of homosexuality. Both are in the realm of taking, not giving, killing, not saving, destroying, not building. Dallin H. Oaks, 1974. First, I believe in retaining criminal penalties on sex crimes such as adultery, fornication, prostitution, homosexuality, and other forms of deviant sexual behavior. Dallin H. Oaks, 1984. It would also be desirable to permit employers to exclude homosexuals from influential positions in media, literature, and entertainment, since those jobs influence the tone and ideals of a society. Boyd K. Packer, 1990. Several publications are now being circulated about the church which defend and promote gay or lesbian conduct. They wrest the scriptures attempting to prove these impulses are inborn, cannot be overcome, and should not be resisted, and therefore such conduct has a morality of its own. They quote scriptures to justify perverted acts between consenting adults. That same logic would justify incest or the molesting of little children of either gender. Excerpt from an interview with Dallin H. Oaks and Elder Lance B. Wickman. Same gender attraction. At what point does showing that love cross the line into inadvertently endorsing behavior? If the son says, well, if you love me, can I bring my partner to our home to visit? Can we come for the holidays? How do you balance that against, for example, concern for other children in the home? Elder Oaks. That's a decision that needs to be made individually by the person responsible, calling upon the Lord for inspiration. I can imagine that in most circumstances, the parents would say, please don't do that, don't put us in that position. Surely if there are children in the home who would be influenced by this example, the answer would likely be that. There would also be other factors that would make that the likely answer. I can also imagine some circumstances in which it might be possible to say, yes, come, but don't expect to stay overnight. Don't expect to be a lengthy house guest. Don't expect us to take you out and introduce you to our friends or to deal with you in a public situation that would imply our approval of your partnership. Dallin 8 jokes, 2019. We also have the challenge of living in a godless and increasingly amoral generation. More and more publicized voices deny or doubt the existence of God. More and more support the idea that all authority and all rules of behavior are man-made and can be accepted or rejected as one chooses, each person being free to decide for himself what is right and wrong. Along these challenges, and caused by them, we are confronted by a culture of evil and personal wickedness in the world. This includes dishonesty, pornography, perversions, the diminishing of marriage and childbearing, the increasing frequency and power of the culture and phenomenon of lesbian, gay, and transgender lifestyles and values. I think that most of you probably noticed how many of those quotes were by Dallin 8 jokes. Who is most likely to be the next prophet of the Mormon Church? So, with all of these teachings in mind, I ask again, do you think the church is a safe place for members of the LGBTQ community? Do you think it's a good idea for the missionaries to represent the church as a safe place for them? The way I see it, by observing what the prophets have said and how the members react to it, is that members of the community within the church are obviously viewed as sinners. And more than that, the sin they are seen as committing is like so much worse than most of the other sins. They're treated as though they're a threat simply for existing. They're discriminated against. In my opinion, the church is not and has never been a safe or welcoming place for LGBTQ people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but if you're being a hateful bigot who has zero desire to show compassion for others, I won't even have to delete your comment because YouTube will do it for me. But still, don't be an asshole. Thank you so much to everybody for watching, and an extra special thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all so much. Extra special thank you to AA, Brett Fairborn, Craig Call, Doug Davis, Mormonland, The Guiltiest Place on Earth, Jason Wilkins, Noble Monster Comics, Tans, and the Exmo Candle Company for supporting at the Demon tier on my Patreon. I really appreciate the support, and you guys make this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys would like to support the channel, there are a bunch of different ways to do so linked in the description. It actually really helps out and makes a huge difference, so thank you so much to anybody who considers doing so. You can also find me on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are all in the description. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Never revealing no secrets you're keeping. These promises strong as a spell. I'll never tell. Yeah, I like you, that's for sure.